So now what I'll do is that I would like to wait my CPU, or I would like to stay within the call stack. I want to extend the execution time of my global execution context, because after reading this 18th line, what is happening? The global execution context got removed. That means the stack is becoming empty. Okay. I wanted to wait until I wanted to wait for some time. So we have seen previously about something, right? Like by using for loop, we can stay within the function for how much time we wanted. So let I run from 0, I less than 10 e power, let us say 7, 10 e power 7, and I plus plus. And I just would like to log the time taken by it. So console.time. Okay, and let me label it as run. Okay. It is an empty loop, but still it will execute for 10 power 7 times, right? Even it is empty, it is going to execute 10 power 7 instructions. Like it has to compare, it has to make a comparison each time, it has to make an increment of this I. So they both are also instructions only, right? Comparison and an increment of arithmetic operation is done here, and then logical operation is done here. So two instructions are executed for each iteration. So like that, 10 power 7 times the instructions gets completed. So it will definitely going to take some valuable time. Okay. Now I would like to log the time end of this. So now what I'm trying to do here is, let me know what I'm trying to do here. Prasanna, can you tell me what I made by using this code? What I made by using this code? Hello?
Sir, time started a little bit.
Time started at line number 20.
Yes,
Timer starts at this line with the label Arvind, right? So now after executing this entire thing, when we read this statement, this is also labeled as Arvind and it is a time end function. So what will happen? Timer gets ended here. Timer ends here and logs the time. Logs the time gap. Okay. So before start, when it was started and when it is executed, this two, there is a time gap between this, right? Just because there is a for loop. So that gap will be printed here, right? And let me save this, and you see the timer got printed. How much it is? It is 94 milliseconds. I want more. I want more means I have to increment about 924 milliseconds. That means almost a second. Almost a second. So let me make it to some more, or instead of this, I'll make some instructions over here. So let sum is equal to 0 here. I'll be making sum is equal to sum, simply sum plus plus, something like this, and sum is equal to sum or sum. Okay, and sum is equal to sum ampersand sum. So this is not going to do anything, but these are some operations are done, right? So CPU will also take some time to execute these three instructions. I think the time is now 924, even though it is for 10 power 8. Now the time will be increased. You see, let me save. And instead of 924, it will take some more time. How much time it is taking now? How much time it is taking now?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, right? So now what I'm trying to do is that I'll set the timer of this to be 1000 milliseconds, and I'll set the timer of this to be something like 1500 milliseconds. Okay. Now can you guess the output? And I'll be removing this. I don't want this, because to execute this for loop, how much time is taking? How much time it is taking to execute it?
To the power of 8.
How much time it is taking to execute this for loop? Let me write it here.
2 seconds.
Time taken by it is
For loop.
how much? 2118 milliseconds. So this is the time taken by the CPU to execute this for loop. Okay. Now you tell me what will be the output. This is going to be really interesting. So those who understood and focused pinpointedly, they can tell the answer very easily.
First hello one will be printed. After that,
First hello one will be
after
printed.
that, after that hello two.
Okay.
But after that, it will go to
Test one, sir.
After that, test one will be printed. I mean, test one will executed.
Hmm.
So you tell the answers, okay? I'm really interested to capture the answers. Just look at this code and tell me the answers.
Okay.
I'll be taking your answers here. Okay. First, Navin, you tell your answer. Firstly, what will be printed first? Yeah, come on, make it fast.
Sir, first, sir, in line number 4, hello one will be printed.
Okay.
Simultaneously, sir, in line number 10, hello 2 will be printed.
Okay. This
And
is expected.
yeah, after that, it will come to, there is another time. Yeah, after that, sir, test one is.
And remember, this for loop is taking how much time? 2118 milliseconds.
Yeah. That's why I am telling you, sir. Actually, 20 and 22 will be printed.
20 and
22 will be printed.
okay.
And 1 microsecond that will take. And sir, after
This is
that,
really
sir,
interesting.
after that, sir, 500 will be printed.
Okay.
And 1.2.5. After that, 19 to 23 will be executed. Is there console? No console. So after hello 3 will be printed.
After this, hello 3 will be printed. Okay, how many of you are agree with this answer? I know you guys will make a mistake. How many of you are
Sir, I
agree with this
will.
mistake?
Sir, I will say no. Hello.
Yeah.
First hello one will be printed.
Okay.
After that hello two.
Okay.
After that set timeout will be registered, and after that set time to will be registered. After the timeout, they will go to the call queue, and after that in the 18th line it will be continuously execute and go to the for loop, and for loop will be executing in the call stack.
Okay.
And after that after executing the call stack, after executing the for loop in the call stack, and it will go to line number 24, and after that the set timeout will be executed, sir, because you said one point, no sir, when the call stack is empty, then only the call queue will be, the task loop will
Okay.
Yes,
task
sir.
loop అది
That's
అందులో
right.
తీసుకుంటుంది అన్నారు కదా.
Okay. Then what's your answer now?
After that hello 3.
Hello 3. Okay.
And then test one లోపల 2022 దాని తర్వాత 500.
Okay. So Suman, the answer is this. And Sai, what's your answer? Sai's answer is same or this one? Whatever you gave personal message to me. Is your answer same with okay Suman's answer? So Suman's answer he's telling. And what is your answer, Prasanna? Can you unmute?
Navin's.
No, Prasanna. Navin's answer.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're telling Navin's answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And my answer would be this one only. Okay. This one only. I'll tell you why. Okay. I'm not going to save this file to see the output directly, but I would like to, give a dry run on ourselves. Okay. Because then only we can understand it very well. So I'm going to make a copy of this code. Okay. Yeah, here is my code. Just look at it very carefully.
I understood, sir, where I did wrong.
You understood?
Yeah.
Where you did wrong?
Actually, I did
The one
it
point
actually.
which is
When
test.
call stack will be not empty, tell sir he will not. It is not going to allow sir that set timeout from queue.
Yeah, from the callback queue, that will not be pulled
Allowed,
from the
sir.
callback queue.
That will be on
Okay.
waiting, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. I want you to guess that point. Okay, nice. Because you got that, that's fine. Let me make a call stack here. So what is this?
మీరు ఫర్ లూప్ లోపల ఒకటి ఏమైనా ప్రింట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అని పెట్టుంటే ఇంకా మంచిగా ఉండేది.
ఫర్ లూప్ లోపల ప్రింట్ అయితే 10 power 8 times ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది. బ్రౌజర్ మొత్తం స్టక్ అయిపోతుంది కదా.
స్టక్ అయిపోతుందా?
అంత 10 power 8 స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అంటే ఏంటి మాటలా? So if I print something inside this for loop, that will be printed for about 10 power 8 times. But I can print it the last one. Okay. If you want me to print something at the last point, I can print something. So I'll make a if statement, but it is going to take more than 2100 milliseconds. Okay, let it be. Okay, I'll tell you how this thing works. Okay. Don't worry. So this is call stack, right? So firstly, what will happen in the call stack? So this is call stack, and firstly, global execution context got created. So this is what global execution context. Now, how many variables are there? Test 1 is fully hosted, and test 2 is also fully hosted. And then what are there? Sum is assigned to 0. Okay, I'm directly writing the variables first. Okay, and then I'll move on to the fourth line. So in the fourth line, what will be printed? So on the console, hello 1 will be printed first. Okay, at line number 4, and then immediately next function definition, and at line number 10, hello 2 will be printed at line number 10, right? And again a function definition. Then at line number 16, what will happen? Function registration of test 1 will be done. Test 1 will be done for how much time? 1 second, right? And here is our queue or callback queue. Okay, and here is our event loop. Okay, and now immediately after executing line number 16, what will happen? Test 2 will also be registered for how much time? For 1.5 seconds. 1500 milliseconds means 1.5 seconds only, right? Okay, and now sum will be assigned to 0, and then for loop will start executing. So to execute this for loop, how much time it is taking? 2 seconds. So for 2 seconds continuously, it will be here. Okay, for 2 seconds continuously, it will be here, and sum will be manipulating continuously. Okay, are you getting my point or not? For 2 seconds, this for loop will execute within this context only. And after for loop execution gets completed, what will happen? What will happen? It is going to print the hello 3, right? Hello 3 at which line? Line number 24. Okay, and during this execution only, these two timers gets completed. Yes or no? Because it is taking 2 seconds, and before that for loop starts over, just before that for loop got started, these two are got registered. So that means let me take a t is equal to 0 seconds at which these two are registered. So this one is registered at t equal to 0 seconds, and this one is registered at t equal to 0.00011 milliseconds. Okay, and immediately this started at t is equal to 0.00001 milliseconds. This for loop got started, and after 1 second, that means at t is equal to 1 second, what will happen? Test 1 will come inside of this, and at t equal to 1 second, the for loop is still continuing to execution, and at t is equal to 1.5 seconds, test 2 will be pushed into callback queue. Okay, and still the for loop is being executing because it will take 2 seconds to execute. And after at t is equal to 2 seconds, what will happen? Roughly at t is equal to 2 seconds, what will happen? For loop will be completed. That means immediately line number 24 will be read, and line number 24 we are printing hello 3, right? And after printing hello 3, there is nothing on the bottom of line number 24. So what will happen? Global execution context gets removed from the call stack. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? And what is the work of event loop? Whenever the call stack is empty, it is going to take the one which is in the frontmost into the call stack. So test 1 context will be Test1 context will be executed, and it will be executed, and then it will be removed. Right? It got removed now. Okay. And after removed, again call stack become empty. That means it is already been executed. I mean pulled into call stack. So what is there next? And test2 is there. After executing this, what will happen? Test2 will be pulled into it. So when test1 is executed, what needs to be printed? 20 and 22. So 20 and 22 will be printed, right? A and H at which line? Line number 8. And then test2 will be executed. So which will print 500 over here at line number 14. Did you understand this?
Understood, sir.
Sir.
Understood, right? Hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, 20, 22, and 500 is out. Let me save this, and you see hello 1, hello 2, and for loop is executing now. And after for loop, immediately what will be printed? Hello 3 will be printed. And then as in the queue, these two are already ready, right? They are ready. During the execution of for loop only, these two were ready, right? So that's how they immediately got printed here. I mean, they got pulled and pushed into call stack and executed. They pulled and pushed back to call stack and executed again. So this is what the output. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And trust me, no one out of, let us say 10,000 or 20,000 people who knows JavaScript, most of the people does not know this concept called event loop and everything. Okay, if I say the same code, even if you want to give a try on your mentor, Naveen and Prasanna, you can go and ask him what will happen with this. Okay, I don't know whether I cannot judge as of now because he might be the good developer, but still, out of 1,000, not 10,000, I would say out of 1,000 developers, around 10 people knows this, who are working on the JavaScript domain only. So this is a kind of crucial part of the JavaScript. Even the yesterday's one also. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if you are clear, then you are master in JavaScript, no doubt. No doubt you are a master in JavaScript. Because I feel myself as a master in JavaScript, and it is not. Everyone think that those who works on document object model, they are the masters of JavaScript. No, those
Sir.
who knows the core concepts in JavaScript, they are the masters of JavaScript. Yeah.
Sir, when the set timeout test1, test2 in the queue, call stack queue,
Okay.
then they give
Okay.
what, sir?
Yeah. Tell me.
Then
Please
they
name
were execution completed there, sir.
What?
When test1 and test2 in the call stack queue, sir, when they goes in call stack.
Call stack queue. No. They will be just stays there. Okay. They will not be executed in the
But
call
sir,
stack queue.
when hello 3 printed, just immediately after 22 to 500 printed, so actually it did not get time, take time 1 second and 1.5 second.
See, during for loops execution only. Actually this for loop was taking 2 seconds, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
means within the 2 seconds only, these two timers got completed, because whenever we register the functions by using set timeout, the timer gets started for them. Okay, that means in this 2 seconds only, after 1.5 seconds, these two got executed, and after timers gets completed for both of these two, what will happen immediately? They will be fetched into callback queue, and even when they are in the callback queue, still the for loop is executing for more 0.5 seconds. Okay.
My question is, call stack is simply used to just print that statements are only test1, test2. They use it.
No, not printing, executing test1 and test2.
Yeah.
But when will it execute? When will it? Event loop is the one which is responsible to execute the ones which are in callback queue. Because once these timers gets completed, they will not directly pushed into call stack, right? They will be pushed into callback queue, and then event loop decides when to send them into call stack. When will event loop send the things inside callback queue to call stack? When the call stack gets empty. That means during this for loop execution only, these two timers got completed. So that's why they fetched into callback queue. Okay. They are waiting to be executed. They are in the waiting list now, and still the for loop is continuing to execute. Okay. After executing for loop, again in the global execution context, there is another instruction which is hello 3. So that will be printed, and then later the global execution context gets removed. That means the stack become now empty. So when the stack becomes empty, as these two are already waiting in the callback queue to be executed, so event loop will immediately pull and push into the call stack and execute, pull and push into the call stack and execute them. So that's how they printed very fastly. So let me show you that again. You see, let me save that. Hello 1, hello 2 will be printed immediately, and waiting for for loop. You see, for loop is taking 2 seconds, and call stack, I mean, in the callback queue, these two are already been registered. And after a for loop got executed, this printed immediately, and global execution context got removed, and then immediately these two got executed. Actually, to see this very clearly, we can keep some debuggers. Actually, I don't like using that.
Source, in source.
Yeah, in sources, and we can keep some debuggers over here. Like you see, I can keep a debugger here, okay, and I can keep a debugger over here, okay. Yeah, enough. Now let me refresh this. Yeah, you see, paused in debugger, and if you want to execute, I think we have to use this arrow or this arrow, I think. And you see in the call stack anonymous. Anonymous actually stands for the global, okay. Anonymous actually stands for the global, and you see sum is set to undefined. That means it is hoisted. That means here I am keeping a debugger means it is not yet executed, okay. And all the previous things got executed, okay. So when the line number 10 got executed, what is the value of sum? Why sum is undefined? Okay, let it be. Actually, I was not continuously telling that variables which are declared with let and const will not be hoisted, right? I was been telling the same thing, right, from the last 2 to 3 sessions. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, this is the right time to tell about that. Actually, variables which are declared with let and const will also be hoisted partially, like the var keyword, but they cannot be used before their initialization. So that's the restriction we have. Okay, but to make simple, I was been telling some, you know what we say, abadhan cheptunde. So abadhan English?
Lie.
Lie. I was lying that let and const will not be hoisted anywhere. So to make it simple, but now I am revealing the real thing that let and const variables will also get hoisted, but they will be used. They cannot be used before their initialization. That's how we were keep on getting the errors. Okay, so that's the restriction on let and const. Now, if I move one step ahead, what will happen? Now the current debugger is here. That means till now we have executed all this. And let me move my debugger to here. And you see this instruction got executed. I think now we are at this instruction. So after executing this, what will happen? Registration will take place for the test 1. And then after that, test 2 will be registered. And after that, the 18th line, which is set to sum 0. Yeah, now sum is set to 0, right? And I is undefined, and to execute this, it will take a lot of time. You see, it will be continuously taking. I need to click this for 10 or 8 times. I don't know how can I directly shift to the next one. Actually, I never use this one to show this one. Actually, I was trying to do, but this is I never use. Some people actually uses this, but I don't like using this debuggers and all, because those who knows the concept under the hood on your own, then you don't need to use this kind of debuggers and all. Okay, actually this for loop will take how much time? It will take 2 seconds to execute, right? Let me remove this. Okay, I don't want this. Let me reload this file. So that for loop was actually taking 2 seconds of time to execute it. Okay, so let me resave and print. And you see, hello 1. Where is console? And how can I remove this? 1 second. Try to remove this. Yeah. Now I think I can refresh. You see, let me refresh this. This is my console. Let me resave this. And you see, hello 1, hello 2 got executed, and for loop was taking a lot of time. And after that, immediately this instruction got created. So during execution of for loop only, these two functions like test1 and test2 are where they are during execution of for loop in the global execution context only. Test1 and test2 have completed the timers and they get inside of callback queue and they are in the waiting list. And when will they be executed? When the call stack becomes empty. But since the for loop is executing in the call stack, so what will happen? Event loop needs to wait until the global execution context gets deleted. And once that gets deleted, what will happen? Whatever the things inside callback queue are there, they will be pushed into the call stack and will be executed. Okay, so that's how we are getting this allo3. And after getting this allo3, immediately as these two are waiting in the waiting list, so they will be immediately got executed. Yeah. Did you understand or you have any questions?
Yeah, understood, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, where will use this timeout function and where, sir? Uses.
Uses and Gadgani, actually, he is asking me that where we will use this kind of functionality. So when you use something like events in web pages, so we are going to learn the document object model tomorrow, and we are going to see these things again. Okay, we are going to see these things again. So at that time, you will get to know what is the usage of this. So there is a concept called event loop in JavaScript, and if you understand this concept, you can answer any queries. Okay, so that's how actually, for example, if you want me to show, let me remove all this. Do you want this code? I'll paste this code in the chat box. Okay. Okay, now I'll be erasing this. You see, there is one thing called document object. So I'll just log this console.log document. And is there an object document I have created?
No.
Did I created any variable which is named as document?
No.
Let me save this, and we are getting something over here, right? So which is actually the HTML that is linked to this particular web page. Okay.
Inbuilt,
Now
sir.
what is, yeah, it is not inbuilt, it is a web API. I told you, right? How many web APIs are there? So many are there. Out of that, yeah, out of that,
Hundreds of
set
them.
timeout, hundreds of are there. So set timeout is one API. That means this web API we are directly using, right? Previously also, I told you it is kind of inbuilt. It is present inside browser. We can use directly. So set timeout is the function which is already there, and console is also already there, which is an object. Okay.
XML.
Set timeout. No, there is nothing like XML. And console is an object. So curly braces I'm writing, and document is an object. Okay. And then fetch is a function. Okay. And XML HTTP request, it is an object. So these are the some of the web APIs. Which we use. Okay, even XML HTTP is also we are not using nowadays, but that is also one web API. Okay, so this is an object which is a kind of inbuilt, and we have started using. That means since we are using a function called console.log, and what is this log? It is a method that is working on this console object. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. And console.time I am telling. That means time is a method. Time is a method that is present inside this console object. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? And document is an object. Let me print this. So type of document. Let me save. And you see we are getting it as an object. And we did not declare this document as a variable in our file, but still we are able to log this out. That means this is a kind of web API. We can start accessing this, and actually this document is object which is responsible to manipulate this entire HTML. We can do anything on this document, and that will be painted here. When you make some updates, or when you want to remove some HTML elements, you can remove. When you want to color some HTML elements, you can do. You can do everything that you are done using HTML and CSS here also. Okay, so by using this document object, and it is a web API. And similarly, let me try to print the type of set time, and let me save. And what it is a function. 1 second, guys. Hello. So
Yes,
you
sir.
understand, right? Set timeout is a function which is a web API, and we are directly able to use that. And I'm printing the type of that particular thing. And now to know what is this XML HTTP request or fetch. So let me print the type of fetch. So fetch is a variable which is inbuilt. You see it is been color. Let me save, and you see what it is. Fetch is a function. I told you, right? Fetch is a function. So let me check for this XML HTTP request. You see, and let me save this. And it is what? It is a function. It is a function. I thought it was an object. Okay.
సార్ ఒకసారి ఎన్నాక తీసారు కదా అక్కడ ఆబ్జెక్టే ఉంది అక్కడ.
ఎక్కడ?
ఇగో ఇది ఆబ్జెక్టే కదా. ఇవన్నీ
yes. Okay. Function. So it is a function, but I used this about 1 year ago. Okay. And now I am continuously using this fetch only. So both of these two do the same functionality. Okay. Remember, fetch and XML HTTP, both of these two do the same functionality, and we are not going to use this one. Okay. We'll be using this fetch only because it is really easy to handle. Got it? So this is the function type. Okay, let it do. And these are all the web APIs. For example, if you want to access something in the HTML, so if you want to access this one, if you want to access this HTML, and if you want to color this out, so how can you color? So let h1 or any variable, h1 is a variable name, right? So let h1 is equal to, so document dot get elements by tag name is a function. Okay, and the tag, what is the tag name of that h1? So this particular element's tag name is this one only, right? So if you get this h1, and let me save this and try to log this variable which is h1. Okay, and I'll create another h1 also. I'll create another h1. Hello, again, something like this. Okay, I'll save this, and I'll also save this. And you see in the console, what is this?
H1.
collection of array.
It is an array. Okay, it is an array. So the first one is h1 and the second one is h1. So basically, this get elements by tag name is a function that is working on document, and it is taking a single parameter. And what does it is returning? It is returning an array. This entire function is returning what? An array. And that array we captured it into a variable called h1, and we log that variable here. So if I want to print the first element of that h1, how can I print? Like this. So let me save, and you see first one we got. Now if I wanted to print the second one also, how can I print? h1 of 1. Let me save, and you see hello world is the first element, and then hello Arvind is the second element. Now if I wanted to change the style of this, I'm just writing to, so tomorrow we'll see very deeply. So h1 of 0, which is the first element, that means the hello world, and I wanted to change the color of it. So to change this, so h1 of 0 is again another object which is an HTML element. Okay, so for every HTML element there will be a lot of functionalities assigned to it, and out of that style is an attribute, and this style is also another object, and inside that style I wanted to access a property called color, and I want to manipulate that color to be red, something like this. And let me save this, and you see it turned into red color. Okay, so wait for some more time, and tomorrow we'll see this all this in an organized way, not like this randomized way. We will see things in organized way, then only it will be inserted into your mind. Okay, yeah, that's all about today, and I hope you got everything.
This means that tomorrow we will see sir DOM, where we will change the if we want to hover on any
So
button,
till now,
text will change.
yeah, so till now what we seen is that till now we have seen the core JavaScript. Now we see what is actually front end is, and how we can manipulate the front end by using JavaScript.
Okay.
So by using JavaScript means we have to know JavaScript, and we learn JavaScript now. So by using JavaScript and by using a web API called document, we can start working on the web page. Okay, we can do anything, not only a specific thing, we can do anything on the web page. Okay, yeah, so that's all.
Sir?
Okay. Yes.
JavaScript లో యూజ్ ఓకే బ్రో
చెప్పు ఎవరైనా చెప్పండి పర్లేదు.
ప్రసన్న అని చెప్పమని.
We can edit, we can delete, we can manipulate, and we can do anything in that. Okay, we can do anything on the HTML and CSS by using JavaScript. Okay, so that means we are going to make the site dynamic. Something like when there are some events are there, and we will register functions like how we registered by using set timeout function. We will also going to register function for some particular events. For click event, whenever we click on that, there needs to be a callback will pass first, and that callback needs to fetched into callback queue, and that needs to be fetched back into Callstack whenever the Callstack becomes empty. So like that. Okay. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll see everything, and the meeting is also going to end in 2 minutes. And within this 2 minutes, if you have any questions, ask me.
సార్ రెస్ట్ అనే ఆపరేటర్ మనం ఫంక్షన్స్ లో యూజ్ చేస్తే ఎన్ని కావాలంటే అన్ని పారామీటర్స్ మనము పాస్ చేసుకోవచ్చా?
ఏం ఆపరేటర్?
రెస్ట్ అనే ఆపరేటర్.
రెస్ట్ అనే ఆపరేటర్ ఏంటి? I don't know what is an operator called rest.
నేను అది యూజ్ చేశాను. అది రెస్ట్ అనే ఆపరేటర్ యూజ్ చేస్తే మనం ఎన్ని కావాలంటే అన్ని, ఇప్పుడు మనం ఫర్ సపోజ్ ఫంక్షన్ లో A, B అని డిక్లేర్ చేసాం అనుకోండి పారామీటర్, అప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేయలేస్తాం, ఓన్లీ 2 పాస్ చేయలేస్తాం కదా సార్ పారామీటర్స్, ఇంకెక్కువ పాస్ చేయలేము కదా. బట్ కానీ మనం ఇప్పుడు ఈ రెస్ట్ అనే ఆపరేటర్ యూజ్ చేసామంటే ఎన్ని కావాలంటే అన్ని, మీరు 1 కావాలంటే 1, 2 కావాలంటే 2, 3 కావాలంటే 3 ఎన్నైనా చేసుకోవచ్చు.
What is the use of passing multiple parameters? And if the developer does not know how many parameters needs to be passed to a function, and how can we handle all the parameters that we are sending to there? So see, if you don't know how many are parameters that a function takes, then how can you handle those parameters? If you priorly knows that there are 2 parameters that are coming, the first parameter is 1 and the second parameter is something else, and you can handle both of them inside your function. But if you don't know how many parameters are coming, how can you handle them inside the function? I think that does not make any usage, right? I don't think. There might be some advantages of using that REST, but I never use that REST one. See, REST means I know only one thing called representational state transfer, which is a APIs that are that responses for a particular client request, which we will see in the backend. Okay. I don't know. I know about only that REST and not this REST what you are talking.
Yeah.
But no usage. Usage అయితే ఏముండదు మనకి ఆ REST తోటి అవసరం.
అంటే నేను యావరేజ్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనము ఒక క్లాస్ ఉంది, క్లాస్ లో స్టూడెంట్ యొక్క అంటే స్టూడెంట్స్ అందరు రాస్తారు కదా సార్ ఎగ్జామ్, ఆ ఎగ్జామ్ లో వాళ్ళ యావరేజ్ మార్క్ కనుక్కోవడానికి ఆ రెస్ట్ యూజ్ చేశాను నేను, రెస్ట్ ఆపరేటర్ అనేది. అందులో మల్టిపుల్ ఇన్పుట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా సార్ స్టూడెంట్, అంటే ఒక యావరేజ్ అనే ఫంక్షన్ తీసుకున్నాను నేను, ఫంక్షన్ క్రియేట్ చేశాను, అందులో ఈ మార్క్స్ అనే పారామీటర్స్ ఎంటర్ చేస్తాను.